starting with roll call.
What time are you calling the meeting to order?
The time is 6:32. Calling the meeting to order. And if we can start with roll call.
Yep. All right. Good afternoon or good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
I'll start it out here. We have Chairman William Miller, Vice Chair Brock.
Here from my home in Inkster, Michigan, Wayne County.
All right. Commissioner Wheeler.
Here from home in Inkster, Michigan.
All right. Commissioner Stroman.
Present in my home, Inkster, Michigan, Wayne County.
All right. Commissioner Moore.
Present in my home in Inkster, Michigan, Wayne County.
All right. Do believe we have a quorum.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda, the approval of April 20th, 2021 agenda. So we need approval for today's agenda. Do we have a motion on the floor?
I move that the agenda for April 20th, 2021 for the Inkster Housing Commission be approved as presented.
Do we have a second?
I second it.
Second it.
Any discussion? I do have one item, I'm sorry, that I would like to put on there as it relates to safety, security. Mr. Cooper,
Yes, ma'am.
I would like to put a safety, security item on there
Okay.
with the approval of the motion maker.
Where do you want it? We got a security report on here under number 9H.
Okay, well, I can come in there. I can do it when they do the report.
Okay.
Okay. Sounds good.
Can we get a vote, please, on approval of the minutes? Agenda.
We
I'm
got
sorry.
a motion already. We getting
I
roll
said-
call.
No, I said, can I get a vote?
Oh, roll call. Okay.
Right.
All right. Chairman Miller. Vice Chair Brock.
Yes.
Commissioner Wheeler.
Yes.
Commissioner Stroman.
Yes.
Commissioner Moore.
Yes.
The motion to amend the agenda, the April 20th, 21 agenda has been moved and properly seconded.
Thank you. Approval of the March 16th, 2021 board meeting minutes. Do I have a motion?
I move that the minutes for March 16, 2021 be approved with any necessary corrections.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
It's been approved and properly second. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Chairman Miller. Vice Chair Brock.
Yes.
Commissioner Wheeler.
I believe I'm supposed to abstain. I wasn't there, was I?
Nope, you weren't there. You're right.
Yeah.
You have to abstain.
Yep, that's
Right.
correct. Commissioner Stroman.
Yes.
Commissioner Moore.
Yes.
Approval of minutes for March 16th, 2021. Board meeting minutes have been moved and properly seconded with one abstain.
Next item on the agenda, number 4, is approval of March 29th, 2021 special board meeting. Do I have a motion?
I move that the March 29th, 2021 special board meeting be approved with any necessary corrections.
Do we have a second?
Oh, yes, I second it.
Any discussion?
Yes. This for approval for the one additional approval. Commissioner Wheeler was there at the special board meeting, but he left early. And it says that he wasn't there. So that would be line 18?
Yeah.
Yes.
And 29.
And also 29.
Any other corrections? Thank you, Commissioner Moore. Hearing none. Roll call.
Chairman Miller, Vice Chair Brock,
Yes.
Commissioner Wheeler,
Yes.
Commissioner Stroman, sorry,
Yes.
and Commissioner Moore.
Yes.
Motion to approve the minutes for the March 29th special board meeting with the corrections has been properly moved and seconded.
Number 5 on the agenda, approval of the February 16th minutes, 2021. I'm sorry. Approval of the February 16th, 2021 board meeting minutes.
I move that the minutes for February 16th, 2021 regular board meeting be approved with any necessary corrections.
I second.
It's been properly moved. It's been properly moved and second. Is there a discussion?
I know folks were wondering why I was so hesitant. I had to think. We said it would be brought up at this meeting, and that's why it did not have to be brought from the table. It's supposed to be done at this meeting, so that's just an explanation.
Thank you, Commissioner. So it's been moved and properly second. Roll call vote.
Chairman Miller, Vice Chair Brock,
Yes.
Commissioner Wheeler,
Yes.
Commissioner Stroman,
Yes.
Commissioner Moore.
Yes.
The minutes, approval of the minutes for the February 16th, 2021 board meeting have been properly moved and seconded.
Item 6 on the agenda calls public comment. If you're interested, you can use your raise hand feature. If you are on the phone, I do believe it is *9 if you would like to have comments at this time. Please keep your comments down to 3 minutes. Looks like we got a hand, Mr. Cooper.
Okay.
State your name for the record, please.
Oh, was that me?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, I'm sorry. Hi, greetings, everyone. This is a resident of Inkster Housing, DeSella Scott. As it applies to I guess designated areas, signs, and so forth, we had a city of Inkster clean sweep, and we was not notified. With no flyer, no type of notification. So it was a lot of cars still parked, including mine. I would love for that area that I park at to be clean, but I didn't know. I didn't know anything about it until I looked up and heard them outside. And then we still have a lot of speeding going on here. I had asked a while back if the budget allows, how would that look with designated areas, with signs and speed bumps. We have a lot of children playing, in the street during this COVID pandemic time, and opposed to going to the park. Maybe they would go to the park if it's something to go there for, as such as swings, playscape, and everything. So that's another conversation for another day. But yeah, the kids are everywhere with the virtual learning in between. Classes and everything, and these cars, no matter what time of the day, they're still speeding. And then we have issues over here. I'm only speaking of the Parkside Estates. We have a lot of little dogs, from small to medium. Do we have such, or can we put in place such designated areas for them to go and I don't know how to say it, handle their business? It can't be always in front of my house, or always in front of that little circle where the kids play at. I felt so sorry for the little girl this weekend. She slid in some, and it was all over her face and everything. I'm like, oh my God. So I don't know if it's a such thing, but I would like to put that out there. And last but not least, can we also get some type of flyer or in our newsletter, or maybe a door-to-door greeting, to let people know who is representing them in their district, as far as a councilwoman, man, resident council people, resident commissioner? The reason I say that, because I'm still getting a whole lot of calls, and I apologize for this weekend. I'm not going to say any names. And I truly, truly apologize. And thank you from the bottom of my heart for that. But I did not expect for it to turn out that way. But I feel if you guys, give them enough information and let them know that I'm no longer their resident commissioner, and give them faces with names, that would be helpful not only to me, but to residents. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. There's a couple of items on there that were brought up at City Council on yesterday, and that has to do with the signs for cleaning up, and the speed bumps that has been talked about previously. So we have one council person on with us tonight. So if he does not mind, if he could speak to the items that concern the city, and then I took notes of your other concerns.
Thank you.
Councilman Williams, can you speak to that?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I just like to say, first of all, for the sweepers, I mean, that was a shock to everybody that they come out such early. And I did mention, me and the mayor had a conversation about what we're going to do about putting signs and let them know that they're coming back into the area again. The sweep people, it was beautiful to see them. They did an excellent, well, I ain't going to say excellent job, but they did a job where, satisfied job picking up a lot of the trash and various things like that. But I think we do have a car issue. Okay, somehow we got to come up with a plan where we can get the cars off of the road during the cleanup. I do have a team of people that I do notify, and I've been working with resident council. I work with people I got block clubs and people in my area that I do communication with. I'm hoping and praying that if I don't have to file bankruptcy, I will put out a newsletter. I'm working on a newsletter, and I'm kind of glad to hear the former commissioner's voice, because I know that she's good at trying to help put a newsletter together, and I welcome her to come join my team to help put that newsletter out in the community, because I feel that the people have the right to know, and so that way we know we do reach them by newsletters or paper. So we're glad to have her come join our team if she feel like it, and you know, it's always a way that we team up together and make things work for the better. Thank you, Madam Vice President.
Thank you so much, Councilman Williams,
Thank
for
you.
elaborating on that.
Thank you both.
You're welcome.
And Madam Vice Chair, may I add,
You bet.
no one was, according to the mayor, was notified. They didn't put signs out. They didn't let the people know they were coming. It's just so happened that at the time they came on my block, everybody that parked on the street was at work. Everybody else was in their driveway. So the communication has to improve. But he did apologize that they did not get the word out like they should have. So we'll just keep focused and hope that we can remember in the future. Because there are signs that he said that should have been put out.
Thank you.
Anybody else for public comment?
Madam Vice President, while I was on, can I say this message here?
Yes, sir.
I would like to commend the commissioners and the director for a job well done for the cleanup area over into my district. And truly, and also I have to really extend it to a lot of the people in the area. But we've been doing a great cleanup job, and I think, and I'd like to send a shout out thanks to the police officer who not only patrolling housing, but yet we caught a few in our area, you know, trying to dump. So the teamwork, I am very proud and humble to see the teamwork going over in District 1. And so I just wanted to say that to everybody, to the residents that are online, thank you for a job well done. And it's looking cleaner and cleaner and cleaner. So I'm just happy with that. And hopefully we can move forward on some greater things. And thank you, Inkster Housing.
Anybody else has comments? You see anybody, Aaron?
I do not, Vice Chair. Let me see. I'm going through. I don't see any hands.
Okay, well, that will be the end of public comment. The next item on the agenda is Inkster Housing Commission action items and board resolutions. Can we pull the screen up a little bit now?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
2-5. Oh,
Okay, that's good.
Good.
Resolution 21-4-01, authorizing Inkster Housing Commission to approve contract with, what is that, Rosano and Smith for lawn care services. Did you want to expound on that, Aaron?
Yes, Vice Chair. Our procurement manager, Ms. Doris Liggins-Blackshear, will read the resolution and field any questions that the board may have. Take it away.
Yes. So the staff request authorization to enter into a contract with Rosado and Smith for lawn care services, resolution number 21-04-01. The recommendation is that the staff recommends adoption of the resolution number 21-04-01, which authorizes Aaron Cooper, the executive director, or his designee to enter into a contract with Rosado and Smith to provide lawn care services to IHC as outlined in the scope of services for RFP number P21001. For financial considerations, the contract award amount is estimated not to exceed $173,460 for a 1-year period. The contract shall include up to 2 1-year renewal options not to exceed $173,460 each renewal year. The total amount for the 3-year period will not exceed $520,380. The services will be funded by the Low-Income Public Housing Program. Any questions?
Before you get to questions, I think we have to make a motion. Is there a motion? And then we'll go into discussion.
I move that we approve resolution number 210401 with Rosado and Smith for lawn care services.
May I ask Madam Vice Chair, may I ask a question?
Yes.
Is there an actual contract to approve?
This is the resolution part.
I know, but the resolution says to approve a contract.
Hold on one second. Aaron, do we have a contract for these people?
We have a
Well, we not for this service. We're bringing a resolution to authorize us to then enter into a contract.
yes.
Okay.
So the resolution should be modified. It should say to approve entering into a contract, because you're not approving the contract at this point.
I didn't say, did I say contract?
No, I'm just reading the language in the resolution, item A.
Oh, because I removed the resolution number with Rosado and Smith for lawn care services. I didn't intend for it to say contract. If I said it, I apologize.
You didn't say it.
No, you didn't. Which I think what Ms. Mill was saying was we should have added a word into the clause here with the resolution to enter into contract instead of contract.
Correct.
No, it says that to enter into a contract with Rosado and Smith.
I don't know what you're reading, but item A doesn't say that.
Yeah, it's the word.
Not on the agenda. It
Yeah,
doesn't say it on the agenda, but in the actual resolution packet, it says it.
I understand.
Yeah.
I don't get copies of that, so forgive me.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So can we get a second?
Yes, I second it.
Any discussion?
So was the motion second with the modification?
It's just on the agenda that way. If you go to your resolution, the resolution already says to enter in a contract.
I can
The
correct.
resolution itself.
Yeah, I can correct it from approve to enter to.
On the agenda. Thank you. Is that satisfactory, Mr. Wheeler?
Yes.
Okay. We want everybody to be comfortable with what's going on. So any other discussion? Eric, this is just for grass cutting, right? It doesn't have anything to do with, well, never mind, because you said lawn. Never mind. I'm thinking of snow removal already.
No,
We got
is
snow.
We got
is
maybe
no.
tonight.
Doris, how many cuttings are they going to do?
they should be doing approximately at this point. Normally they would start earlier, in April, but at this point we're looking at about 12 to 13 cuttings every other week.
And they'll be responsible for all properties, all of our properties.
No, they will be responsible for Parkside and the Lemoyne Gardens and Denby.
Okay.
The staff will do the cuts for Canterbury, Simmons Center, and the Twin Towers.
Okay. Any other questions?
Yes, I have. I just have one. This company that we're trying to enter to contract with, is that the company that was out the other day that did the grass cutting?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, that's all I needed to know.
Okay.
So how many bids did we receive for this job?
We received 5 responsible proposers.
Okay.
And Mr. Willie, I don't know if you knew that this, I think, is the second time we done sent out a bid for lawn services.
Yes.
Because the ones that we got before were ridiculously high, like
Yes.
millions.
Yes.
Okay. Where was it posted?
This was posted in 5 mediums. That was posted in the Telegram News, the Detroit Free Press and News. It was posted on FADA, the Michigan Chronicle.
Okay. Is it possible for me to get an email to see where these RFPs are posted and when?
Yes.
Okay.
I can when I come in tomorrow, I can email that to you.
I appreciate it.
Thank you. You're welcome.
That's all of the RFPs.
That's fine.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Any
I
other
must
discussion?
commend Doris for putting it in the Telegram, because I saw it in the Telegram. I said, wow, we're getting close to home. That was a positive thing. Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you.
And Commissioner Wheeler, just so you know, we also, there's I just found this out. We post on was it e-marketplace, Doris?
Yes, we also post on eMarketplace. I'm sorry, I forgot that one.
Yeah. So what we could do is, you know, especially if there's ones that you know, for services, we could provide the board, you know, for those. We could just send the entire board if we want. If we need to, just say, here goes the RFPs for services that'll be forthcoming, so that you know, the entire board can see, here goes the ones for services, because it sounds like we really want to make sure that we need to make the board aware of like services, especially these larger contracts.
Yes.
Absolutely. Thank you, sir.
Any other discussion? Being none, roll call.
Chairman Miller, Vice Chair Brock,
Yes.
Commissioner Wheeler,
Yes.
Commissioner Stroman,
Yes.
Commissioner Moore.
Yes.
A resolution to approve a resolution. I'm sorry. Resolution 21-4-1 authorizing the Inkster Housing Commission to enter into a contract with Rosada and Smith for lawn care services has been properly moved in second.
Item B, Resolution 21-04-02, authorizing Inkster Housing Commission to approve Choice Voucher Program.
If we could, Vice Chair Brock, if I would like to amend this resolution just as for verbiage. It should say authorizing the Inkster Housing Commission to approve the administrative plan for the Housing Choice Voucher Program.
Okay.
Probably reads that way in the resolution.
In the resolution, but not on the agenda.
Okay, so the Housing Choice Voucher Administration Plan.
Yep, administrative.
Okay. So we have a motion.
I move that we approve resolution number 21-04-02 to authorize Inkster Housing Commission to approve the administrative plan for the choice voucher program.
Is there a second?
Second.
We have moved and properly second. Discussion.
Commissioners, Ms. Sanford, the director of the Housing Choice Voucher Program, I've asked her to give a high level summary of the administrative plan, just what it is actually, and we discussed some of the because it's such a massive document, and typically when we review this annually, the changes are minor in comparison to the document. Document 500 odd pages. Typically, we just do changes on necessary chapters, if you will. And so I wanted Ms. Sanford to be able to explain some of those revisions that really are applicable to our business, so that the board could understand where there is a significant impact or potential significant impact to the Housing Choice Voucher Program. Some of the updates are mere just verbiage, where we just had to add a word here or there. But some of the changes actually impact the business of the Housing Choice Voucher Program. So I wanted to make sure that she highlighted some of those things in the meeting today. So if the board had any questions, and I know we previously sent out the changes, so I wanted to give the board some time to review. So should they have questions for her, please feel free to ask. So Ms. Sanford, take it away.
Do I have control?
You know what? That's a good question.
Did you give me control?
Let's figure out how to give her control.
It's open. She should be able to go.
I probably need to stop sharing first.
Ah, okay. I'm up? Okay.
There you go.
Okay. Put this down here a little bit. Okay. So, as Mr. Cooper stated, the administrative plan known as the admin plan is reviewed and renewed every year. So there were some updates that we went through. We sent you guys some information if you had any questions. So one was numeral 3A, denial of assistance. Sorry. We added some language here. I'm sorry. I'm trying to keep it on point. Okay, just don't act up. Okay, so my mouse is just doing whatever it wants to do today. I'm so sorry. Okay. So here where it says denial of assistance, family that does not meet eligibility criteria discussed in part 1 and 2 must be denied assistance. In this section, we'll discuss other situations and circumstances in which denial of assistance is mandatory for PHAs and those in which denial of assistance is optional for the PHA. The language that we added to that was, while the regulations state that the PHA must permit admission for certain types of criminal activity and give the PHA the option to deny for other types of previous criminal activity, more recent HUD rules guidance must also be taken into consideration when determining whether a particular individual criminal history permits denial of admission. When considering any denial of admission, PHAs may not use arrest records as the basis of the denial. Further, HUD does not require the adoption of one-strike policies and reminds PHAs of other obligations to safeguard the due process rights of the applicant and tenants. And the notice is here, notice 2015-19. So we just added language in there so we could better understand that when we're denying families, normally we do a background check and we pull up criminal history. This is just putting more language into what we can do and how we can deny when we get ready to do that.
Nancy, what was the need for the change?
Well, what happens is, rules and regulations change, throughout the year. We receive information as time goes to tell us, hey, listen, this regulation has changed. They've added this, they've added that. So what we do is we receive our model admin plan from Nan McKay. And so when we go in, we review what Nan McKay has given us. And if we agree to what they have written, then we say, okay, fine. But if it's a language that we feel that we need to be able to protect our residents or give our residents more information, then we'll add language to it as we see fit that pertains to our residents. But this is a model that comes from Nan McKay.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome. Ms. Moore had a question for me. She did call me, and she was concerned about our payment standard. Her question to me was, she reviewed the payment standard, and she wanted to know if by us changing the payment standard every year, would that affect our residents' portion of rent? And as I explained to her, our FMRs come out once a year, and we have to do a comparison with FMRs and our payment standard that we have per year. Payment standards can only go up to 110%. So when we change payments, then we always try to remind ourselves about our tenants to make sure that it's not going to affect the tenant's rent. So her question was, this payment standard you guys are talking about, would this increase the residents' portion of rent? And I told her no, because we have to go and look at what the fair market rent is, what the rent is out there in the market, and compare that to what our payment standards are to determine what percentage we're going to use to be able to change the payment standard every year. So, Ms. Moore, the answer to your question is that the payment standards are updated annually.
I appreciate that, Nancy. Thank you.
You are so welcome. And that was notification of the family share and amount of HAP contract. That was her question for that. Were there any other questions? Any concerns? Ms. Moore was the only one who contacted me, so I just assumed that you had a chance to look it over and everything was okay.
Okay. You guys were talking about payment standards. Good. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, brother. I'm sorry.
I do have a question about the denial of admissions.
Yes, sir.
As it relates to criminal histories, and I'm not exactly sure if this body knows, but however, there's a large push towards entering our returning citizen population back into areas in which they were denied. And because I'm a voracious advocate for returning citizens, just to let you know that we've helped to change a lot of the laws and policies as it relates to returning citizens. We push for the expungement laws to be changed. And one of the areas that we found that helps to lower recidivism is access to housing. And so just like our licensure laws have been changed, I hope that this body considers the massive changes that are going on nationally so that there may not be old standards applied to possible new residents who may actually have been released from prison or have been out of any criminal activity for years and who may need housing and who will be able to make good tenants. So just to emphasize that for this body, that I vehemently disagree in terms of having a blanket broad brush to not allow individuals who have served their time and paid their debt to society. So I just want to put that out there so that going forward we can maybe re-examine, and I understand that federal and state are two different things. However, we do have a responsibility to our residents, and we understand that in most cases, public housing is a temporary situation.
Mm-hmm.
And so a lot of individuals who are coming out of prison are actually going through various service so that they will be ready for housing. Okay? And so they receive a lot of wraparound services, and so they need somewhere to stay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Absolutely, Commissioner. If I could say, and you know, Nancy in her expertise, and even with Ms. Sutton in the public housing side, because our admission policies kind of mirror each other in both public housing and housing choice voucher. This actual chapter, if you will, or part in the administrative plan, I think it goes to exactly what you were saying. So historically, housing authorities have policies that would prevent those with criminal records and arrest records from getting in housing. So maybe 5 to 7 years ago, legal aid, and there was a lot of advocates that really put forth a lot of very valid discussions, arguments, and where housing commissions had to change their administration policy. So we no longer can just factor in an arrest record to bar you from housing, and that's what this is. So essentially, we have to take into account several factors. We can't just say you were arrested and you can't get in housing, or there's only certain things that you really are convicted of that would bar you from housing. And one is like if you were a certain tier sex offender. So they have really shrunk down what can bar you from housing. I think another one is getting convicted of methamphetamines on public housing property or something. But other than that, I mean, you can have a record and get into housing just as if you had a non-record. So we have to factor in other factors. So I think this is goes towards what you're saying. We can't just look at an arrest record.
Yeah, it depends on the severity of the crime and that. But like you said, the meth and all that, yes, definitely a denial.
Sounds good.
Any other comments on this resolution?
I had a question. I saw something in here about subsidy layering, but I had never heard that term before. What exactly is that?
Do you know what chapter?
It's with regard to let me bring it up here real quick. It's item 18.2.
Oh.
Delta. It talks about if we're going to maintain housing units under the ACC. I had never heard the term subsidy layering before, so.
I'm coming. Give me a minute.
Yeah, I don't know. I was just saying one. I'm sorry.
You said 18.
Yep. 2 and a D.
2 and a D?
Yes.
What Nancy, if I may?
He's going, I think this is something when we talk about with RAD or whatever, yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. Section 18, Chairman, that's an excellent question. Section 18, I think, Nancy, either you were just getting on. So we use the NAM-McKay model. And NAM-McKay will say, here are changes, housing commissions that based off of recent notices, based off their expertise, here's some changes or here's some language that you need to make sure that's in your administrative plan. And so Section 18 is all about RAD. It's all about, because RAD is so new. Section 18 is like for us in our administrative plan. Section 18 will be ever developing. So what that means is there'll be a lot of updates probably every year when it comes to our Section 18, because the RAD is so, I ain't gonna say new, but it's ever changing in public housing. So some of these things in 18 are not crystal clear. I'll be honest to you. But when we went through and we looked at the subsidy layering thing, is essentially if you're in public housing, and let's say today it's public housing, tomorrow it converts to RAD, there's still some funds that were given to you while you were under public housing. HUD gave you those funds. So now it's saying when you convert to RAD, you're going to have another funding stream. So if you're going to get that additional funding stream, then what that may be referred to is subsidy layering. So this is giving you, this is outlining, hey, if you aren't converting to RAD, then if you have funding, and of course you could change in your funding stream, then that may require you having two sources of funding, where HUD don't typically allow that. But I think they recognize that with RAD, when you go RAD, they've already, committed to funding your public housing program. So, now if you just so happen to convert to RAD during that year, they've already committed to funding you. But if you just so happen to convert to RAD that year, because even HUD doesn't, they can't just tell you, yeah, tomorrow it's going to happen. So if it does happen and you already received some funding under public housing, when I read this, I took it as that's what these kind of some of this subsidy layering means, where you got two sources of subsidy coming in. Now, again, that's just how I interpret it, because some of this stuff is not crystal clear.
No.
Yeah, so Mr. Cooper?
Uh-huh.
Andrea, may I contribute?
Please.
Okay, so another aspect of subsidy layering has to do when you're doing some level of redevelopment work, and you might be using funding sources from, say, tax credits, or, and then maybe a conventional loan, maybe you're getting a loan from your own capital funds, and so, or a Section 8 contract, and you're converting under the PBRA under RAD. So when you have multiple funding sources coming in to create essentially your mortgages, if you will, that's called subsidy. They look at that as subsidy layering also, and because each one of those funding sources have restrictive compliance requirements, then they look at them and HUD has to do what's called a subsidy layering review to make sure that you're not trying to pay for, things that are not in compliance with each of the funding sources, and that then your covenants as far as what you have to follow for compliance, they're going to go to whichever one of each of the layers of funding that you're using have the most restriction. And then everybody will have to, they make HUD and the tax credit investor, equity investor, and so forth sign and say that, we all agree that we will go to these strictest compliance requirements as a part of our agreement to enter into this deal with multiple funding sources. So that's the other aspect. There's the aspect of the operations, like Mr. Cooper was saying, and then there's the aspect of the actual funding in a finance situation where you're going out to get money to do redevelopment or development work.
Okay. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Andrew?
Oh, anybody else? If not, Mr. Cooper, roll call.
Vice Chair Brock?
Yes.
Commissioner Wheeler?
Yes.
Commissioner Stroman?
Yes.
Commissioner Moore?
Yes.
Chairman Miller.
Yes, sir.
The resolution 210402 for the approval of the 2021 administrative housing choice voucher administrative plan has been properly moved and seconded.
Thank you. At this time, I would like to pass the time to my brother, Mr. Chair.
Kelly, you was doing so well.
Well, normally when you come in late, you like to come right in and get to it. Yeah. So I thought, who am I to not do that? So.
Well, ain't you sweet? All right. Well, here, let me bring my agenda back up here.
Yeah, and can we put our agenda back on the screen?
Can you see it?
No.
I think she still got control.
Still has her thing up.
All right.
We good?
Nope. It said OneDrive is assigned in. You might be on another monitor. The director getting that together. From what I can tell, we are now at resolution. Yep.
We had resolution 6.
Yep.
Are we good?
6C. Yes, sir.
7C.
All right. So that's 21-04-03, authorizing the Inkster Housing Commission to approve establishing an agency-wide social media policy. All right. All right. With that being said, that's going to be so. Resolution 21-04-03. Can I get a motion to accept?
I move that we adopt resolution number 210403.
All right.
Authorizing the Inkster Housing Commission to establish an agency-wide social media policy.
All right. Thank you. Resolution 21-04-03 has been brought to. There's a motion to bring it to the floor. Is there a second?
A second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion regarding this resolution? Real quick, just for
21st century.
Yeah, a little bit. So, I have one. Who director is going to be watching over this?
Right.
So what? Great question, Chairman. Great question. So, what we did was I assigned a few different staff to kind of monitor, as well as myself and Ms. Jankowski. So daily we go in and we check, because with social media it's good, but you have freedoms and people have freedoms to post, various things, and so one of the reasons for the policy, Chairman, was to make sure that one, and we thank Mr. Milk for drafting this, because there are things that when it's posted you can't just delete. So we have to know how to handle postings. We have to know how to respond, and that means we need to monitor this. So it's good, but it also comes with some responsibilities. So I set it up to where we have staff that are assigned to actually go in and just open the page and check for posts. And I've included myself in that.
Okay, because once we open ourselves to social media, for us to put information out and for others, I'm expecting to get people, instead of putting in work orders and stuff, they're gonna go to their social media posts and put it on our page there and say, hey, my sink clogged up.
Absolutely.
Or things like that. I want to make sure that if that stuff starts to happen, we're able to manage that.
Yeah, absolutely, Chairman. And what we did, and again, even before drafting the policy and before creating the social media platform, what I did, I reached out to some other housing authorities that I work for, and those that I happen, just some of my colleagues, to just ask how they handle social media. From my experience, just seeing how it was handled in some of the housing authorities that I worked at, I had already drew some conclusions, but I wanted to be assured. And again, that's why I spoke with Milt in terms of, what can we do? And so, there's certain things that as people post that we are able to take down. If it's defamation type things, we are able to remove those things. However, under the guidance of Milt, if there are posts about work orders and things like that, those are things that we're going to have to monitor and respond accordingly to. And for me, the best way and the best process to handle, those things is just respond directly to that person. If there's an issue, then our method will be, if you have an issue, let us talk to you. Let us communicate to you. Let us fix the problem that you're having, because that's what we're supposed to do. So, but you're right. This does, when you go into this realm, you have to be prepared for the good and the bad. But I'm a firm believer that we do, 100 times more good than what is bad out there, and so we can't stop people from posting. We're not going to try to hide ourselves, if you will, because I'm a firm believer, Chairman for the board, that we do a lot of good, and we need to communicate to people the good that we do, and the things that we have going on, and that's kind of the purpose.
Okay. A couple other things real quick. You spoke of defamation. Stuff jumping on there, that's people putting people's personal business on there or anything like that. When you got folks doing it by committee, you want to make sure that, one, we able to see that and get that stuff off there timely, because, time is ticking. You leave something up there for 10 minutes. That could be a lifetime for somebody's information if it's out there that long. So something like that concerns me. Also, the timeliness, how time consuming and managing a social media page could be. I want to make sure that it's not driving people away from other stuff. But
no, absolutely, Chairman, and absolutely, and that's one reason why even the developing of the social media, we've hired someone to help us do this. I've actually hired someone to actually monitor, that can do the posting. That is actually a company that does PR and marketing for housing authorities, across the nation. So now we've put out a larger solicitation. So we want to have people bid like an RFP, but initially we just did a direct solicitation to have a company help us with this, because I don't claim to be a marketing guru, and as you said, we have a lot of business within the housing authority, and marketing and social media is not our business. So I've hired somebody that is an expert in that.
All right, that's all for me. I appreciate it, sir. Thank you.
I have a couple of questions. I know on some media outlets, the administrator can any posters can go through the administrator, and then they can decide whether or not they're going to allow the posters to go through or not. Mm-hmm. So they're approved by an administrator, whoever that is. Mm-hmm. Did you guys look into something like that, or you guys don't want to do that? That's my first.
That's excellent question, Commissioner. Yeah, we did, and I spoke with because again, I wanted to make sure I understood. I spoke with the marketing firm, and as far as administrators, I'm one, and the marketing company is an administrator. So they can go in, and that goes towards Chairman's point. If they need to go in, they're tasked with monitoring this. But I asked about that very question as far as posting. I said, well, can you, as an institution, limit, what is posted? And the answer is, can you? Yes. But what it does, it mitigates, or it almost erases the, and again, this is the feedback that I received, and after I thought about it, I said, yeah, that's right. It almost
defeats the purpose.
Defeats the purpose of the social media, because you want it to be live. You want it, you want people to have that ability to post. But you're right. That was one thing that I thought long and hard about. And I said, well, we're working on the website. We're trying to get a website, social media. These are just things that we just will have to, deal with, I think, as they come. But
this isn't something that's going to replace us getting a website. That's my other question.
Absolutely not. Oh,
okay.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
And then I have one other question. I think Chair gave the example of somebody complaining about something that's going on in their house or work when they really should be putting in a work order. I just want to make sure that we don't have people that work for us responding to those type of things on social media. So within the policy that we shouldn't have employees responding to anybody on social media like that.
Yeah, that's it.
Work order related. So,
yeah.
They should know that is not okay.
Yeah, and there's language. You're exactly right, Commissioner. And that, me and myself and Milt talk. We looked at some examples, and you're exactly right. Staff can't represent the housing commission. We wanted to make sure that was clear, and even on our page, they I'm the only administrator besides the marketing firm. But even if someone on let's say their personal Facebook, wanted to make a comment about Inkster Housing Commission, let's just say it's a staff member, would we know? No, we wouldn't. We wouldn't know. But what this does is this states that if you're an employee, you don't represent Inkster Housing Commission. Now, if we find out, then we have to deal with it from a personnel policy standpoint. Milt, is that accurate?
Yeah. May I further comment, Mr. Cooper?
Please.
If you look on page 2, item E, moderator, and Mr. Cooper really got into this. He's highlighted certain people that are going to be monitoring this program. But the definition of a moderator in section E is an authorized commission official or employee reviews, authorizes, and allows content submitted by the commission officials, employees, public commentators to be posted to an Inkster Housing Commission's social media site or sites. So based upon that definition, we do have some control over the employees and things that are posted. So I hope that further enlightens and answers your question.
Thank you.
All right. Is there any other questions, comments with regard to this resolution item? Hearing none. If we get a roll call for acceptance of resolution 21-04-03, Director, please.
Sure. Vice Chair Brock?
Yes.
Commissioner Wheeler?
Yes.
Commissioner Stroman?
Yes.
Commissioner Moore?
Yes.
And Chairman Miller?
Yes, sir.
All right. Resolution 21-0403, authorizing the Inkster Housing Commission to approve and establish an agency-wide social media policy has been moved and properly seconded.
All right, so that one is approved. Let's move down to next item 7D, Resolution 21-04-04, authorizing the Inkster Housing Commission to approve a contract with Tidy Cleaning, LLC.
I think we went through this before you came, Mr. Chair.
Okay.
Enter into a contract with.
Oh, all right. I'm all for legalese language. Let's use the right word. So, all right, to enter into contract with Tidy Cleaning, LLC. Is there a motion?
So move.
To do.
Enter in.
All right.
Stroman support.
This has been moved and supported to bring resolution 21-04-04 to the floor. Any comments with regard to the resolution? Any discussion?
Commissioner, this is a resolution. So Tidy Cleaning Services, and I apologize. First of all, I after speaking with Ms. Blackshear regarding this service, I really thought that this needed to come before the board because I wanted to make sure, with some of our facilities that the board knew, as well as those vendors, potential vendors and partners that utilize some of our spaces, as well as our residents at the Twin Towers, knew that cleaning and keeping our buildings clean and sanitized was important. And so after discussing this, again, I apologize for the last minute putting this onto the agenda. I'll make sure that we're more timely, in that, but that was on me. But again, I wanted to bring this resolution. Evertidy currently provides services for the Housing Commission at a few of our buildings, specifically Twin Towers and the Simmons building. So going forward, what I wanted to make sure that I did was that we entered into an official term and agreement so that we can hold them accountable to the cleaning of our buildings, where we have a method behind the cleaning, we have contacts, we have an expectation, we have a routine, and that we know that the buildings are clean this date, this time period, and here's the scope of work. So this resolution really makes their services that they were already providing to us official, but I wanted to make sure I brought this to the board because, again, they were already here doing several buildings. But I asked Ms. Blackshear to put this out to solicit and give others an opportunity to bid. And Evertidy came back as the most responsive bidder. And after some discussions and some negotiations on their pricing, we were able to come to terms, which you see here in the resolution. So just wanted to give some background on that.
All right, we appreciate that. My only thing, anytime with outside vendor contracts, is any conflict with, I don't know if we can even, with any of the contracts that we have or agreements that we have with our staff. But all that's been taken care of, right? We're not going to run into anything like that, right?
Yeah, no, Chair, because what we did was, I think our staff, with the classifications that we have, we do have some custodians, but I think our staff realized we were down custodians for a while, and that the level of cleaning of the building still had to continue.
Yes.
And so, and we emphasize that there's enough cleaning and work to go around for a long time. And this was not going to impact their ability to be able to clean, trust me.
All right, fair enough. Any comments?
So what is their routine? Is every day they're cleaning Thompson?
They will be cleaning the Twin Towers, the Simmons Centers building.
Oh, that's what I meant, Twin.
And the 4500 Inkster Road building 2 to 3 times a week.
Okay.
I think Twin Towers might be daily. I apologize.
You're right. I'm sorry.
Daily.
Twin Towers is daily. I stand to be corrected. I'm sorry.
Yeah, with the amount of traffic in that building, Commissioner, I wanted to make sure we stayed on top of that. And, with our staff, I just don't think that the cleaning would be a focus with maintenance. We need to be doing maintenance.
Right.
All right. Any other comments? No other discussion? All right. If we get a roll call, please.
Vice Chair Brock?
Yes.
Commissioner Wheeler?
Yes.
Commissioner Stroman?
Yes.
Commissioner Moore?
Yes.
Chairman Miller?
Yes, sir.
Resolution 210404, authorizing the Inkster Housing Commission to enter into a contract with Evertidy Cleaning, LLC, has been properly moved and seconded.
All right, appreciate that. All right, next item on the agenda is resident council reports.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
The secretary for the Inkster Housing Residential
Residents Council. I'm taking the place of Mr. Carter tonight, so bear with me, y'all.
All right, no worries.
It reads as follows. Number one, do we have a target for the recertification completion packets?
Target date?
A target date, yes. For them to have those back in.
Should we ask? You want to go through, or you want us to answer them as you go?
You can answer it as I go.
How many you got?
That's only 8. I'm sorry. I thought I sent it to you.
Yeah, but it was moving. It was moving as we was getting going. So, all right. So 8. Okay. Go ahead.
It's only 2 that you have to answer for real.
Oh,
it's only
okay.
the first
There we go. All right. So let's go ahead.
Miss
If
Sutton?
you don't mind.
So the first one is the recertification target. Do we have a target date for them to get those recertification packets back into you?
You're on mute.
Who's on mute?
Oh, Director of Asset Management and Modernization. Miss Sutton. She tried to answer.
Okay.
Sign language. I think she may be having.
There we go.
There we go.
Can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I got you, darling.
Hear me?
Yes.
I can't hear you guys. I gotta call you guys back.
We can hear you.
Okay, so I'm gonna have to call back. But the recertification, they're supposed to be completed by March 31st. They supposed to turn in the package by then. And if you ask me a question, I'm gonna have to call back. Give me a second.
Okay, moving on. Number 2, have residents with the large and illegal
March
dogs
31st already came.
Yes.
have been identified and fined. We still have large dogs around here in the residents in the area that's roaming around.
Enter your meeting ID followed by pound.
Okay, you can mute again, Director.
Well, yeah, I think Miss Sutton is she'll put the Zoom from her computer on mute and then use the phone for audio. I think that's what she's gonna have some technical difficulties.
9, 1, 2, 4, 6, 3. This meeting ID.
That's okay.
Please
That's all right.
re-enter your meeting ID.
There you go. So I'll step in while she's getting herself together. So the dogs, that's an ongoing thing. We have identified. We just spoke about this last week when we were doing our community cleanup. We have identified a number of units, but this is a cat and mouse game. We'll identify you, we'll notify you, we'll go out, we'll inspect. You'll move the dog, and then we got to come back. Like, this is going to be an ongoing game with some of the residents, because they'll put the dogs up. When we come around, they'll send the dogs with a friend or family member, and then we'll come back. And unfortunately, we can threaten. Tamika, you good?
Yep, Director, you got a lot of noise over there.
I think that's Miss Sutton. You good?
We can't hear
Okay, there you go. All right, while she tried that, don't worry about it. We know you having difficult. There you go.
So my question to that is, because I have a lot of them that's in this area. At night after 5, do I just call the police and ordinance?
Well,
pick them up, because a lot of times they're outside just chained up.
Yeah, what I would suggest that you do is, you can call. I don't know that the police is going to do a great deal because it's not necessarily a criminal matter. And they probably
are over out. Mr. Cooper, if they're running around though loose, the police is over the whole animal control.
Animal control.
So, yeah.
Okay.
Right, because we do have some that are loose, that just are off the leash, that just run around.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and in that regards, like Vice Chair Brock said, you could phone the police. I would also make sure that if you are able to know where that dog is at, where that unit that is in, that you notate that, and you let your property management office know. Because even though you may call the police, we may not get notified. So then we won't be able to follow up. So, definitely you can let us know anonymously. You don't have to give names. There's several ways that residents can let us know stuff like that. But this is going to be an ongoing battle, with dogs, because it's so hard to capture that, because folks know. I can give you a notice. Ms. Sutton, her team can give you a notice today. You remove the dog tomorrow. That cured the violation. Technically, then I can't do a whole bunch after that. So this is a game. But I think once folks know that we are serious, once folks know that this is a violation that can cause you to lose your housing, we do have the ability, I believe, under our lease, that if you have a dog, even if you have a dog legitly, if you're not picking up after your dog, we can fine you. So, typically that's what I've seen. I had to go back and double check, but as far as in our ACOP, that language should be in there, but I'll double check. But so that pet thing is a cat and mouse game that we consistently gonna have to deal with.
Okie dokie. All right, number 3. Jason Dixon and the Strategic Alliance will start their training for the plumbing, and I needed to add fiber optics in mid-April or May. The program is for ages 14 to 26. The flyers will go out soon. The fiber optic classes are geared towards the adults mainly. Number 4, Mr. Cooper has already made contact or reached out to other organizations that will assist our families in becoming self-sufficient through education programs and job readiness training, like WSC Academy and Cream Incorporated, just to name a few. He also has spoken with Mr. Pitts with the Met Plus program, and Mr. Pitts wants to bring the mental health services to the district. Number 5, the Inkster Housing Summer Program, the Inkster Housing Residence Council Summer Program or Youth Program will be starting around June, depending on the CDC guidelines. The classes will be held at 2 locations this year. One will be the Lehigh Center, the second will be the Simmons Center. Number 6, he thinks that residents should be informed about the possible RAD programs for Twin Towers and or Lemoyne 1 and 2 if the RAD and when the RAD is going and I guess come. Number 7, put in place police services or security services for housing protection after hours, which is after 5 p.m., which is after you guys close, which is in most of the stuff starts for real. Number 8, and last but not least, when residents threaten Inkster Housing employees, it is an automatic eviction or termination of the lease, and that is per our lease. It should be an automatic termination of employment when housing employees threaten the residents, and that's what I have. I yield the floor.
Did an excellent job.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. All right. Thank you. Any discussion before we move on to the next item on the agenda? Anything?
Just one quick discussion.
All right.
Well, just to I have the number for animal control. So, if you don't mind, Mr. Cooper, I was going to call them because we do have. I see the dogs running all types of the day, and it's hard. We did report addresses, but I mean, as you said, you guys can't be everywhere. So I was going to call them to let them know that we did have the dogs running, and they are pits. So when they're not, they're not supposed to be in Inkster Housing at all anyway. So that was one thing. And then the 2, I know that you gave the residents at Twin Towers information, so that shouldn't be a problem. It's on there. We will be on the call tomorrow. I just don't know what time the call is and if it's the same call-in number so that we could be on the line.
Yep, Commissioner, same time, 3, same call-in number.
Oh.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you.
Can you give them that number to the animal control?
Yep. Is that for the RAD conversation, public comment period?
Yeah.
Well, it's a meeting. Yeah, Twin Towers meeting.
Can you forward that to us?
Yep.
We have it.
Yes, we do. Already.
I can't get to my email right
It was
this
the April 13th email that was sent.
Resend it.
Thank you, because I don't know what I'm doing right now, Aaron. Please forgive me.
Hey, no problem. No problem. That's easy. I'll resend that out first time.
I had a cancellation for tomorrow, so I'll try to get on.
Okay. Right. They're very good calls, by the way. I mean, we had some excellent questions.
Yes.
The first one, so I hope the participation is the same. And I have to make a visit.
Yes, you do.
A COVID safe visit tomorrow, so I'll be there.
Yes, because you have to show up. If you do not, you will never hear the end of that.
Oh, I know.
All right. So moving on, let's go to item number 9 on the agenda. It says Executive Director Report. So Director